All right, what up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and we're back with Sharpshooting. Sorry about last week, but things unavoidable, schedule conflicts, personal stuff, all that jazz. But we're back, and we are ready to talk about Raw. Even though I just have to say I didn't even really watch it, but sadly I didn't have to really watch it to get the gist of where they're going, which is pretty bad when you could almost avoid an entire 3 hour show and still know what's going on. That's not good programming. But anyway, say what's up to the people, Pete.
What's going on, people? Glad to be back. Like Mike said, sorry about last week. If we had done last week, there was one thing we were going to I was going to complain about anyway, and that was the whole Ascension losing to the primetime players. But we will move on because I actually wanted to say that for the first time ever, I watched the Raw pre-show, and for the last time ever, I watched the Raw pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show.
Honestly, it
Go
just
ahead.
felt like a waste of time. It just felt like a waste of time.
Yeah, they try. They try with the pre-show. I mean, it's an interesting thing to have this little before show discussion about what's going on. You know, the idea of it is interesting. I just don't know how, and it just doesn't grab me. It's like I could do without that. I don't need to see. And you said that David Otunga was on this week.
Yeah, David Otunga, Corey Graves, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Jesus, but I don't remember him from anywhere else besides.
Yeah, usually it's like Alex Riley. I think Corey Graves has been coming on regularly now. It used to be Booker, but Booker has more important things to do. WWE. Um, and I forget, Tom Phillips, I think, used to be they pretty much the B team used to run through there all the time. But I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah,
the only thing I took out of this Raw pre-show was first I had not, because I don't watch SmackDown, and I think I've made this apparent every single week on the Sharpshootin podcast. I don't watch SmackDown, so it was news to me that Wade Barrett would be defending his title at WrestleMania in a ladder match against random opponents. We're not sure how many people are going to be in that match, but that was news to me, and also it was news to me that Paige would be versing Nikki Bella in a rematch for the Divas Championship because of the way the result was made at Fastlane. But the only thing that stood out to me from that whole pre-show was that David Otunga made mention of that Paige versus Nikki Bella, Paige versus the Bellas, to be perfectly honest, and he referenced it to being the Mean Girls. And for weeks we said that. We said that was the gimmick they were going with.
Yeah, and I guess now everybody been saying it for a while on the internet, so now they're picking up on that and they're going to utilize it. But little corny setup, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry,
But yeah, I think now we can kick on into Raw because honestly, you can't get any more from the pre-show, even if you tried. Raw itself was. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was kind of like in between. And kicking it off, is Seth Rollins, and we all know Seth Rollins is the WWE have really been pushing that whole John, what's his name? John Stewart.
John Stewart.
I think it is. John Stewart. Yeah, the whole feud about the Daily Show and Seth Rollins claiming that he could host the Daily Show and make it actually watchable. And they've been doing that for what, 2 weeks? I think they've been going about it.
Started like the week before Fastlane, was it? I forget when.
Yeah. And on this week's Raw, it was going to be Seth Rollins hosting his own Daily Show, and of course Roman Reigns interrupted. I mean, in a way, I knew that someone was going to interrupt. I wasn't sure who, and Roman Reigns ended up filling that spot. And that Seth Rollins has come a long way. He is actually getting really good on the mic. and he carried this entire promo. That, like, let me be honest, Roman Reigns is at his best on the mic when he's limited to what he has to say. Seth Rollins can talk. Seth Rollins can finally talk, and what he was saying was good. So he's saying stuff like, I think he was going along the lines of like, I'm more like, I have more money than Michael Jordan. Like, I can add another thing to the list, and that's I can out wrestle you to Roman Reigns, and it basically built up a bit of tension between the two. And ultimately, it led to Roman Reigns teasing that Seth Rollins cashes in his Money in the Bank right now, and like puts himself in the triple threat at Mania between Roman Reigns and Lesnar.
Well, and that's a bad thing. They shouldn't have did that because I don't think we need a triple threat. I don't think it's gonna happen anyway. But I wouldn't even play with the idea of a triple threat at this point. It's not necessary. It's not necessary at all.
But
because I would rather him save it, and then if it comes to that, cash in after WrestleMania and see where I want him to do an epic cash in. I don't want him to just insinuate himself into a situation like that. You know what I mean? Make that cash in something that we'll remember. Make it a memorable cash in. Because again, I don't think I can't remember the last really memorable cash in. To be quite honest.
Jesus, I'd actually have to think back. Which ones do I actually remember? I remember CM Punk's cash in on. Was it Edge when Batista bombed the crap out of him? Just left him in the middle of the. That was a memorable one. But Seth Rollins.
I think Dolph did an okay one. I'm just still pissed off for the Damian Sandow one because that was bad.
Oh yeah, that was a very bad one. But Seth Rollins basically he said basically to that he replied he could just cash it in at Mania after you two have beat the crap out of each other. So I really doubt they're going to go the road with the triple threat. It was just a simple tease. Seth Rollins is going to have a great cash in, and it's going to be one of those ones where the champion is down and out or down and getting up, and even if it's a curb stomp onto the Money in the Bank, like the briefcase, I think that would be insane, and then they start the match after it. Something like that. Just something that goes with Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is on such a high right now. Like, he's in such a good spot.
Definitely.
It's just so exciting. But you know how it is with when Roman Reigns is out, he's got to get involved physically, and he has to come out dominant. So he ended up punching Seth Rollins, Superman punching Jamie Noble, and then spearing Joey Mercury, and stood dominant at the end of that promo. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, Reigns has to look strong.
Yeah, and I'm okay with them making him, like you said, limit him on the mic, just make him look good in the ring, build him up that way, because you can't, overnight make him a great orator. He's not going to get great on the mic. It's going to take him a lot more time, and it's a lot faster to fix his ring problems than it is to fix the mic problem. So, it's okay. Whatever. Whatever. No. Moving on.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And then it led to the backstage thing with Randy Orton, where basically Randy said, if I was you, I would go to the authorities' office and say I want a match with Roman Reigns later tonight. And the whole thing with Randy Orton, WWE made a weird mistake, because you had Randy Orton at Fastlane attack Seth Rollins, blatantly attack Seth Rollins, and then come on Raw and agree to work with him. It's like they were going one way, but then they scrapped it in a completely different way.
Yeah, now they're doing this whole, well, I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to try to be your friend, your mentor type thing. And it's clear that it's going to eventually boil over to, and it's something that's going to either I see it go in one or two ways. Either it's just going to boil over the next few weeks, and they're going to have their match at WrestleMania, or, and this is the thing that might piss off a lot of people. It kind of would piss off me too. Or we get to the main event of WrestleMania. Whoever wins, wins. Seth Rollins comes out, tries to cash in, but who fucks it up for him? Who causes him the match? Randy Orton. So that would be the biggest revenge Randy Orton can get on Seth Rollins, as much as he likes him.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, that and that would set up whatever they're gonna do down the line over the summer. But I can honestly see that being one way for it going. It would be pretty shitty, but it's an option on the table to build heat towards their rivalry if they're not going to do it at WrestleMania.
When you think about that, that would be pretty shitty, but at the same time, in a way, it does set up for a great feud between the two.
Yeah, it does.
It just sucks because the Money in the Bank, because it's simply because Seth Rollins has held the briefcase for so long that I feel he has to win the title.
It's been about a year now. It's closing in on that full year.
But we can move this to the first match, which is Dean Ambrose versus Bad News Barrett with the typical R-Truth on commentary. If anyone cares about R-Truth, either in-ring, on the mic, anywhere in WWE, it's beyond me. I don't know how. I don't know how he's still on the roster.
He must be a very loyal dude. He must be a very well-liked guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Him and Hunter probably are the best of friends. Something like that. It has to be some, him and Stephanie get along very well. Vince loves him. Something. Because I mean, look.
He offers
R-Truth.
He takes up a spot on the roster.
Yeah, R-Truth, in his prime, was cool. I liked I preferred him as Ron Killings, way back in the day. But R-Truth was okay. He's a decent superstar. But now he's a clown. Let me just be honest. He's now reached clown status. Like when he does promos, he's always being extra silly or goofy. Now him coming to the ring, still doing the whole rap, the whole whoop there it is thing. Come on, dude, really?
The whole song too. That's the only thing. That's the biggest thing. R-Truth does the entire song. Why can't he stop when he gets to the ring? Why does he have to keep it going?
Yeah, no, he actually completes the whole thing. And like you said, when he's sitting on the side talking, he just really sounds.
He offers nothing to the commentary team, and it's kind of weird to have the fact that he's the one that they say he got that win against Bad News Barrett, and now he wants an Intercontinental Championship shot. It's just Jesus. Okay, anyone can get one the way this is going. But speaking of the Bad News Barrett has had a terrible run lately. I don't know what WWE is doing with him. He has to have the most losses for a champion. Has he won since he has the title?
I've seen him win once or twice. Twice, I think.
Oh yeah,
he's come back.
The pull hammer. Yeah.
Because didn't he get his revenge against Sin Cara on SmackDown, I think?
Oh yeah. It would have been. He wins on SmackDown. He loses. When it matters, he always loses. Except Fastlane doesn't even count because that was retarded.
Yeah, because that was just a dumb situation. But this whole situation with the Intercontinental title is getting extremely dumb. Remember how high we were on the fact that Dean Ambrose was talking this up so much and making it seem like the title mattered? Now all of a sudden, this thing is, and we'll get to that later down, the line on the show, but this is becoming a nightmare situation because there's so many people in the mix, people who you wouldn't even think now all of a sudden, like R-Truth, jumping up into this. It and then Luke Harper showing up out of nowhere, and it's getting weird. It's really getting weird.
So in terms of the whole Bad News Barrett Dean Ambrose match, that match was, to be honest, I thought this match was better than their Fastlane match, which says a lot because this was just on an episode of Raw. When R-Truth did his whole sneak over and take the title and put it up his shirt, and everyone's like, yeah, what are you doing? And then you had Luke Harper just standing. Yeah, Luke Harper's just standing behind him. Like, where did Luke Harper come from? That's my first question. Like,
it's hard to for somebody that huge to just come out of nowhere. But
he's got the biggest beard too, so he's noticeable wherever he is. But he must have come from the ground or something. And R-Truth handed the title. You see Luke Harper walk off, distracts Bad News Barrett. Dean Ambrose picks up the win with Dirty Deeds, which, again, another match with Dean Ambrose where before the match even ends, alright, the winner, Dean Ambrose, Dirty Deeds, because Dean Ambrose is on quite the roll right now, and come WrestleMania, I know I said this about Fastlane, but come WrestleMania, he has to be Intercontinental Champion. Also,
unless they give it to
they announced that the first person they announced in this Wade Barrett ladder match, the only confirmed person so far is R-Truth. Of course, everyone's got speculation, and you can almost guarantee who's going to be in there. But for now, R-Truth is the only 100% confirmed superstar.
That's sad.
And he did that whole stupid thing about the ladder.
We get an R-Truth match at WrestleMania, y'all. Aren't y'all excited? R-Truth. He's gonna. Oh my God. He gets an opportunity to do a grand presentation at WrestleMania with that fucking intro. He gets to do a WrestleMania intro with the song. Oh my God, this is not good. This is not good at all. Oh man, that just hit me right now, because you know how everybody tends to like go all out for WrestleMania. God damn. He might just do that. Oh, he probably have like girls.
They better skip his intro. He better be standing.
He might do a live
He better
rap
be just
video.
standing in the ring.
No, he's gonna do a live rap video at WrestleMania.
Okay. So WrestleMania 31, it has been ruined.
That's scary.
Let's move to the next, and basically this Raw was a lot of promo work, and this one was actually decent, to say, with The Miz and Mizdow, because it was just funny the angle they put it at, how The Miz was jealous of Damien Sandow getting that commercial role, and then The Miz takes it, and then they basically hint at Viagra, and The Miz is the face of it. And I actually got a good laugh out of that until the very end, where actually it's not like it was a bad bit. It was just when The Miz is like, "You set me up for this," to Mizdow, and then he slaps him, and it just felt like there was like Mizdow was gonna hit him. Like, that's just how it felt. They're building that up perfectly, and Miz is playing the bully to perfection. As much as I hate Miz in ring, and I think his time is up, like, the role he's playing with Mizdow is actually, like, starting to get to the point, like, when the tension's building, it's really good.
Only thing about it that makes me happy is that they're pushing something behind Damien Sandow. And I'm just sitting here just patiently waiting for them to let him go off, destroy Miz, and then go on whatever run he can go on. Because I've always liked Damien Sandow. I just thought that he was very misused. And, you know, ever since, again, that horrible cash-in situation, he's just been totally buried. And I need for them to put him back on a high. I really do. I really would like to see him get a decent opportunity to be at least, at best, one of the top mid cards who will fight for the Intercontinental and or U.S. title on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Give him some type of relevancy. Now, it was the whole being missed out thing was cute, but now it's at an end. You can only go but so far with that anyway, and I think they've gone as far as they could. The Miz is dead weight to him because the Miz basically holds him back because nobody wants to see the Miz. He is the only reason the Miz is still
The Miz
has
offers
relevancy.
nothing right now.
Yeah, so it's time to cut him loose and let him do his thing and let the Miz do the pre-show, please. I would appreciate it if you just leave the Miz out the ring from now on. Let him do the pre-show. Let him do his TV thing. Just keep him somewhere away. Go ahead.
Even if you had the Miz, I think if you had the Miz say color commentary on main event or something, that could even work. Because I think the Miz can talk. It's just he can't wrestle.
No.
That's just the reality of it. And he's been holding Damien Sandow back, and I hope they change his name the minute this is over. The feud will end at WrestleMania, and we're just going to have to wait for it. So good things are coming in terms of Damien Sandow, and hopefully they take him to... Obviously, he's not going to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but like you said, an Intercontinental US title is definitely not out of the picture for Damien Sandow by any means.
And that would be.
But that promo was good. I thought the promo was funny. It was like lighthearted. It worked well. Got me a bit more ready for the now they're just teasing the minute they're just gonna part ways. So
yeah, I think they don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, straight after that promo, you had another promo, which was the Bray Wyatt, and this one was actually live. I think the other ones were all pre-recorded.
Yeah, you could tell the others were pre-recorded.
Yeah, so it was interesting to see him come. He killed it again. And I've heard rumors that Undertaker's not going to show up until WrestleMania, and Bray Wyatt has to basically build the hype around this match himself to that point. And he's doing an excellent job. Excellent. Just the little things he's doing and the little things he's saying along the way are just making it like you want the Undertaker to come.
Yeah, no, they have the perfect person for this. I've heard stuff like Undertaker, someone on the podcast, I think it was either Steve Austin or Jim Ross, they were saying if he's going to fight Bray Wyatt, it's because Undertaker approved it. And if that's the case, then I think it's a smart move the Undertaker pick Bray Wyatt because he's one of the few people that you can pick off that roster that doesn't need the Undertaker to consistently show face to build towards this thing. He's so good on the mic. He's, his whole character is so good that he can carry the promos by himself. The Undertaker doesn't need to come out and do anything. He can just sit back, train, get in shape, get himself ready, get his body back, ready for the ring. And he doesn't have to spend, waste time traveling all over, cutting promos and things like that. He could just chill, do his dark matches, and get himself together. And like you said, come WrestleMania, hey, Bray Wyatt comes out, cuts the promos like, I told you that I wanted to face you, but you're a coward or whatever. Then all of a sudden you just hear the gong goes and the Druids come out. And it's just on right there. It's a perfect scenario, picking Bray Wyatt to be the Undertaker's opponent for this WrestleMania because it affords, such a great opportunity to one, push Bray Wyatt through the roof and let him like go wild with his promos and build himself to like a crazy spot, and it gives that moment when the Undertaker shows up. It makes that one of the best moments you've ever seen in WrestleMania. On top of the fact that you give him a match that is worthy of the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and that people will enjoy seeing. So the whole situation with the Bray Wyatt thing just works to perfection. I just hope that nothing happens to like derail this. Like I pray Undertaker's okay enough to go in the ring. I pray that he wants to do it. I pray that this all happens because I think this is probably going to be one of the biggest moments of WrestleMania that we've seen in a long time if it goes down.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And is it just me, or has there been subtle hints from Bray Wyatt that this may just be a casket match? Like,
Yeah, he's
in
been
all
putting
his
on casket a lot.
promos, they've been there. Yeah, so I think that'd be a great match too. Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt in a casket match, and the whole new face of fear. Just this match is I'm excited for it, and literally, as we just said, the only thing that needs to happen from now until Mania is Wyatt just has to keep talking.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's it. That's all we need. We just need Wyatt talking, and then Undertaker to just come out at WrestleMania and just take win. But that promo was amazing, and there was actually a quote in there where what was it? Bray Wyatt said that he's like fire, how it's like emotionless, it destroys anything in its path, and he said that's what he is. And I thought that was awesome, and then he lit the casket on fire, and then he had JBL make his terrible reference, like, what if the Undertaker's in there? Like, what? Oh god. But, but we'll move to the second match, and it actually took a while to get to the second match of the night, which was the most excited I've been for a mixed tag team match in ages. We'll quickly say the match. The match was Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Natalya versus the Usos and Naomi, and this has been building up for weeks. And the most excited I've been once they entered the ring, the most disappointed I've been once they exited the ring.
The only problem I have is that, okay, so you've had them at Fastlane, they got the title. Right after, they get their rematch, they lose. Okay. If you are serious about the tag team division, I can't have the Usos fighting Cesaro and Kidd every week. You know, of course, if you're building towards another match at WrestleMania, I understand that, but they don't need to consistently have matches between each other. Bring the other tag teams in. Have them fight. Show us why Kidd and Cesaro deserve to be tag team champions by having them run through your other tag teams. It does nothing to just keep doing this, and this is where WWE has really gone bad with the tag team titles, is that once someone gets it off of another team, they're consistently locked with that team until they decide to switch the belts off back to the Usos or whoever had them in the middle of the feud. They don't know how to mix it up with the tag teams. They really don't. And I know there's not a lot of huge popular tag teams out there right now, but you can throw two superstars together to give them some work. You know, you can make tag teams. I mean, hell, they could do Eric Rowan and Ryback. Well, no, I prefer Eric Rowan and Ryback not work together because Ryback's horrible. In tag, to me, he's not that great of a tag team wrestler. But put Eric Rowan with Dolph Ziggler and make them a tag team. You know what I mean? Just for briefly, just to do a match. You know what I mean? Not necessarily make them a permanent tag team, but give people who aren't working on the show an opportunity to go after something and say, hey, I want a shot at the tag team title because I'm hungry for a title. You know, make people seem like they want that. You could do that. I mean, hell, at this point, I would even be okay seeing the New Day contend against them for it. At this point,
They just need a bit of variety in competition because honestly, we all know the Usos they're gonna verse Cesaro and Tyson Kidd at Mania because obviously when they lost last week on Raw, Natalya interfered and that's gonna lead to the rematch being done. But
right?
like you said, just give them some random. It doesn't even have to be tag teams that matter. Not tag teams that are gonna win. Just so we can see Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus other tag teams and just go about. Not seeing the Usos every week. But in this match, I thought it was stupid. I thought we were over this whole Tyson Kidd. Do you know how he plays? Like, he plays scared and he tags in Natalya. And I thought we were done with that. I thought once they won the belts, that was over. But no, the Usos were about to... I think they were about to super kick or something to Tyson Kidd.
Yeah,
and then he just tagged in Natalya. Yeah, he tagged in Natalya, even though Natalya had re-injured her foot from when she did the flip, which I really didn't expect her to do when she did it. I was like, oh, another move to the repertoire. But she did that, like, jump over sort of thing, and then obviously Naomi came in, did the roll-up, picked up a win, and... Oh, God. It just...
Total Divas came live on Raw.
That's the only way to put it because Natalya and Naomi had a match on Raw like a few weeks ago where it was entertaining, and then this, how those two tag teams have great in-ring chemistry. Those two divas have great in-ring chemistry. How did they screw this up?
I mean, you had to see the emotional, touching moment between husband and wife, you know. And my thing was, it's just like she's so mad at him because he put her out there to lose. And all of this drama is resolved with a hug.
And all of this drama is resolved on Total Divas. Make sure we check next week.
And then you go back on Total Divas.
They cut the promo too.
Yeah.
That's it. But... The best thing out of that was at the end of the match, the main event was announced, and Seth Rollins vs. Roman Reigns was basically locked in the main event, which was, I mean, I was actually pretty excited when I heard that. But let's move from there because if I talk about that anymore, holy crap. So we had this is actually an exciting area to talk about because we had John Cena's promo for his WrestleMania 31 plans and how Rusev had denied him the shot to verse him at WrestleMania, which, spoiler alert to anyone watching, it's going to happen. John Cena is going to be fighting Rusev at WrestleMania. But he claims he's going to basically enter himself into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or however you pronounce that. But Stephanie McMahon comes out and says he can't enter. He's basically disrespecting Andre the Giant's name and legacy, and John Cena was like, you had people like Fandango, The Miz, Mizdow, Ryback, Curtis Axel. They all basically said, yeah, I'm in. So that bit kind of made no sense, but it led to the most exciting bit of this whole promo. Curtis Axel came out. He's got his own T-shirt.
Favorite man in the world right now.
Axelmania.
Love that. I need to get that T-shirt. Damn it.
He was actually doing the Hulk Hogan too. He says, "What you gonna do when Axelmania runs wild over you?" And actually, one quote, the first thing that comes out of his lie, he says his usual, don't turn the channel, like I'm here, blah blah blah, and then he said, "I'm often imitated but never eliminated," and I'm like, oh, this guy. He's a hero. And he came to the ring and he does his Axelmania and he chops his arm. He chops his arm around. And the crowd was getting into it too. The crowd was actually getting into it.
I told you they needed to run with that after it blew up on Twitter. The whole Axelgate thing was nuts, and I'm surprised they don't use it more. I'm surprised he's not seen more on TV. Like, put him on SmackDown. Yeah, if you don't want to put him on Raw 5, put him more on SmackDown. Let him have matches. Let him do his whole spiel. Let him get the crowd wild because people love that thing. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Using him, having him think that he really deserves a shot at the title in WrestleMania. It's a good side. It's one of the better ideas for a comedy bit now and then. I just don't think they use it enough, and I was glad that they brought him out and did that because it's hilarious to me. I find it. I don't know why it's so funny to me.
But before we talk about the John Cena and Curtis Axel's 30-second match, I just want to make reference to just the way Stephanie McMahon was on the mic. I gotta give credit where credit's due. She actually cut a good, basically section. Just the stuff she was saying was good. Where she's like, it's not the one that stood out. The thing she said where she's like, it's not how WWE will be after John Cena. It's how John Cena will be after WWE. And I was like, oh shit. And then she's saying stuff like Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, they all said when they left that WWE was going to suffer, but it's thriving, it's thriving. Just the stuff she was saying was just gold. And then at the end of it, obviously she said, and it was the only way you're going to appear at WrestleMania is if Rusev allows you to fight him for the title. So it's in Rusev's hand, and John Cena said to Curtis Axel when he came out, if this match starts, I'm going to hurt you. And here we go. We begin the 30-second match. But Curtis Axel actually did the ripping of the shirt. He ripped the shirt like Hulk Hogan, and he did the ear thing. You know how Hulk Hogan does that ear thing?
Right.
Oh, God. in 10 seconds...
Squash. Yeah. I mean, I would like to see him get some good matches, though. Somewhere along the line, they have to give him the opportunity to get some good matches. You don't want to do it on Raw. Let him get a couple of surprise wins on SmackDown or something. Main event. I want to actually see Curtis Axel go on a streak of some sorts before WrestleMania. Just give him a build-up to the whole Andre the Giant thing, which, by the way, I didn't think they were going to bring back and make an annual thing. I guess apparently now that's an annual thing.
Yeah, that's the way they're heading. I mean, just for anyone that didn't know, last year it was Cesaro that won it, and this year, I mean, the ball's in anyone's hands. I mean, the only one that really stands out to me right now is RAIDMAX.
Yeah, well, see, and my thing is, okay, you're making this annual. Fine. Don't make the mistake that you did last year, because if this is supposed to be an annual WrestleMania event, it should be impactful on something significant, some title, some significant. It should have some significance to it, the way that the King of the Ring used to have some significance to it, at least. Because, we saw Cesaro pick up Big Show, throw him over the ring, over the top of the ropes. And at that moment, I thought, okay, this might be their push for Cesaro. Well, as a year later, Cesaro finally gets put in the mix for a tag team title, but not the way, he's got a slight push, but not the push that he probably deserved off of winning that Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? It's like after that, he pretty much did nothing, to be quite honest. So
I mean, the like you said, the Andre the Giant battle, Royal Memorial. It doesn't hold any value besides the title, and of course the basically showing their respect for Andre the Giant as
Right.
a WWE superstar. Hopefully in future, even if it's a US title, like they get a choice between the US or the Intercontinental Championship, and they can go that way. So at least it's not like it doesn't have to be the biggest deal, because obviously you want to save that. I guess you could save that
Right.
for the Money in the Bank, have that be for the main titles. But that's a nice way to put it. And like Curtis Axel, I would actually, I agree with you. I'd like to see him go on like a little streak. He doesn't have to beat anyone big. He can honestly just squad like just terrible opponents, and then just have a little streak going into Mania. And
Yeah.
I'd honestly be excited. But Rusev ended up coming out at the end of that match, which really it was just to drop the flag, because he said, actually he said something good that like obviously Rusev is. Would we say he's the biggest heel at the moment?
Oh no, that's Rollins by far, but he is definitely
No, but I mean like in
second.
terms of crowd reaction. Crowd
Uh,
reaction was like Rollins kind of gets cheered. He gets kind of cheered and booed,
yeah,
where
yeah.
Rusev is
As
just
far as
straight boos.
people hate, yeah, there's no love at all for Rusev. So yeah, in that aspect, definitely he's the top. Because I mean, even Bray Wyatt is considered a heel, but he gets babyface reaction all the time. So yeah,
No, that's so true.
definitely
And Rusev,
Rusev defines the heel role right now.
yeah, it was actually pretty funny when Rusev was like, "Do I think you deserve a title shot at WrestleMania?" He's gonna say this every week, and the fans are like, "No, yes." It was split, and then Rusev's like, "It's my decision to make, you like ignorant Americans," and then he ends up saying no anyway. But I thought that was pretty funny, because the minute he called them ignorant Americans, you just hear the crowd just go like ballistic.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny.
And
It's a weird thing that they're teasing no John Cena at WrestleMania. Because me personally, I would like to see it. I would like to see them have the balls to not have John Cena at WrestleMania and let other people, like, let your future see how well your future can carry the weight. You know what I mean? You don't. I don't think you need John Cena to make WrestleMania a great show. So why not see just how well, you're building Roman Reigns. Well, let's see if Roman Reigns can be that star that you want. You know, whatever you're gonna do with Seth Rollins, let's see how well his stuff goes. You're gonna have enough veterans on there anyway. Let's see what a WWE without John Cena would be, because there's eventually going to be a WWE without John Cena. It may not happen anytime soon, but it's going to happen eventually. Eventually, it's going to be there, and why not test the waters now? You have enough people, in my opinion, that are just looking for an opportunity to become a breakout star, and a non-John Cena match, you know, on the card does well for your roster overall. I mean, we know he's going to be there. Let's be honest. 10 years straight,
it
I can't see them not having him there. But it would be a
it would be a very
change.
it would be a very daring, like right now it'd be a very daring move to not have him there, simply because uh, in retrospect, I think he's the only one that is anywhere near that United States Championship in terms of like not deserving, but makes sense to give a title shot right now. And Rusev kind of needs the match. Uh, do I obviously seen as like I really can't see Cena losing. Like it would take a lot out of Cena to grant Rusev the lean way to like win this match and continue on. It'd take literally Cena is the new Hulk Hogan, man. Once there's a kid in mind, he ain't taking nothing.
But I mean,
Well, Cena,
I think Cena would help a
to,
lot. But it's funny because I'm thinking back to the reaction. what Flying Modem said about Cena being pretty decent on the mic. It just sparked this whole visceral conversation in the comment section of the Fastlane recap show. I mean, and one particular person, he was just like so passionate about how horrible Cena is in his eyes, and the whole thing. Shout out to you, Chicago, Chi-Town fan, because he was just going on about how like they did it before with other people, and it's just a stupid idea. Because I was saying, it's not Cena's fault completely why he's there. Is he horrible for business? To me, you shouldn't have just Cena carry the weight. I agree. Cena being the top star, but like I was saying, um, Vince always picks someone and like elevates them above everybody. Yes, I know Stephanie McMahon brought him in the company, but reality is it doesn't matter. Anybody who reaches the top doesn't get there unless Vince says so, and you only run long at the top if Vince is cool with it. There's nothing in this. I mean, things like Daniel Bryan winning, that was okayed by Vince because you know what? The crowd reacted so bad, and he saw money. He saw dollar signs. It's the same thing with, I remember CM Punk doing it. I forget what interview this was, but they were talking about him being champion and how it all started with the whole pipe bomb thing. And, you know, he said himself, Vince was so resistant against him until that pipe bomb. And then Vince came to people in the back, was like, you know what? I smell money. Let's go with it. If it benefits Vince, if it's too good that Vince can't pass up that opportunity to benefit from it, then he'll go with it. Otherwise, he will stay with Cena being the top guy for as long as he wants. He'll stay with that one guy. It's like now he's pushing Roman Reigns to the top because that's his, image of who should be on the top. And once Roman Reigns gets there, he'll stay with that as long as it pleases him, as long as it doesn't cost him money. And that's the thing. Cena has yet to cost the WWE money. For all the hate, the visceral that we have against Cena, people will go to a show to boo Cena. So Cena still draws people in, and that justifies Vince keeping him up there. So, it's the Cena thing is a very weird. I feel like a lot of Cena's weight now in the WWE is actually oddly enough carried by people's dislike for him, and I feel like they made a position where even if you don't like him, you've made him a needed asset in Vince's mind because people will come to that show to boo him. So it's just weird, very weird. I would like to see him not be on the card. I would really like to see them give other people opportunity and let things rotate. I've never been a fan of certain people always has to be on WrestleMania anyway. I've always thought that you can build stories throughout the year and elevate and shift down people all the time. There's 12 pay-per-views per year, so you have enough pay-per-views to give everybody opportunity. Spread it around. You don't always have to have Randy Orton. You don't always have to have Cena. You don't always have to make sure certain people show up. That's just me, but it's crazy. It's weird.
With that said, we've also got to keep in mind that Cena's merchandise is still through the roof. No matter how many people boo him each and every week, he's still the top selling merchandise guy, which is crazy. But we will move to the Triple H promo.
Just really quick before we go to that.
Yeah.
As far as the Rusev thing goes, Rusev has to win at WrestleMania. You have to keep Rusev elevated. Cena is at this point in his career, and I think he realizes it, and I think he's comfortable with it. He could take that hit because, like you said, no matter what, he's still the top selling merchandiser. No matter what, people will come to the show to boo him. So he still has weight. Him losing, if anything, will please the crowd and throw the crowd in a fever, and he knows that. So I think he'd be cool with dropping to Rusev because he know it. It somehow, some way, in an odd, crazy way, Cena's still going to be one of the most relevant WWE superstars, win, lose, or draw at this point. That's just the sad reality of it.
It, it's so hard. It's so hard to. The only thing, it's so hard to see Rusev picking up the win. If they were to go that route, it just worries me because then you got to think to yourself, okay, John Cena couldn't get the job done against the undefeated Rusev. Then who does? And do not tell me it's going to be Darren Young because he seems to love ending undefeated streaks.
No, they can.
Good
This
God.
is the thing. You have people. You have there's enough talent. The talent is there. A lot of people try to say that they don't have enough talent. They have plenty of talent on that roster. It's the way they utilize their talent. And you have Rusev win. Okay, next pay-per-view, Rusev drops out while you build everybody else up towards this. And then you could bring Rusev back in, Money in the Bank and start that feud with whoever's the next chosen guy. There, you can build a pool, just like, even though they're doing it in a lame way, they're building a pool of competition around the Intercontinental title. You can do that with the U.S. Championship, given, time and the right execution. So, yeah, right now Cena is the guy to go for it, but he could lose, and you can elevate someone else. You can do something else, and it doesn't necessarily, it may not necessarily have to be a total face. You could use Bray Wyatt, to be quite honest. I mean, there's people out there that you could. I mean, Ryback's been getting this huge push. I don't want to see him as a U.S. champ, but I'll accept it if it is a way of generating some type of competition. Dolph Ziggler, somebody.
I can see that end, but you got to the only thing I'm saying is you really got to think about the superstar that ends Rusev's streak, because if it's someone like Ryback, I don't think I'd be happy. I don't think I'd thinking back on Rusev. You wouldn't want to be like the guy that ended that streak was Ryback. Like at least with Vladimir Kozlov, his was his was shocking. It's a shocking example because he just left the WWE after that loss. But you think his first loss, Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels, honestly, think about it. What a way to go out. If you're going to go out to a superstar, you'd want to go out to a Shawn Michaels or something. You want to lose your streak there. But hopefully Rusev can pick up a win. I really do doubt it, though. I think that Cena will win at WrestleMania, and they're just going to go that way. But we'll progress to the next bit, and it was some exciting times in this promo, the Triple H promo. Even though I'm getting sick of him coming out and talking about Sting every week, I got to say he does cut promos really, really well. He has some of the stuff he says on mic is just, and the intensity in his face and stuff is just perfect. It just builds so much around the match. And let's talk about him. Triple H was saying stuff like,
all right, so
everyone has their
okay.
own...
Let me talk to help you out because I know this is a devastating moment. He and you're right. He did cut a good promo talking about Booker. He addressed Booker eventually about saying what he said about Sting, and he brought Booker into the ring and how. You were like, oh, so you had some things to say about Sting, and Booker, basically is telling them, Sting's a very loyal dude. He's the last of the WCW. You're not gonna be able to bully him. You're not gonna be able to, do what you think you can do to Sting.
Control.
Sting's legit, and all of that. He's just basically.
You can't. You can't. It's like basically you can't control him. Ric Flair couldn't control him. The
Right.
WCW couldn't control him. Eric Bischoff couldn't control him. And now he's like, you better hope that at WrestleMania you deal with the problem.
Yeah.
You tell about the next bit because
Yeah, so Booker's just like, I'm just being honest. He's not trying to you know, he's just basically letting Triple H know, hey, I'm not, trying to, fuck with you. I'm just letting you know, Sting's a problem, and you're gonna have a huge problem to deal with. And Hunter was like, okay, I respect that. You're being honest, blah blah blah. By the way, you're fired. And it's like the look on Booker T's face, was just like, are you for real? Are you serious? And I know that had to make you smile. I don't know, you were looking up the. I'm sure you were doing the Daniel Bryan chant at that point, weren't you?
I was fist pumping all over the place, and I actually thought Booker T was going to attack Triple H. Like, they kind of lent on it for a bit, the way he kind of like looked at him. Like, is he going to go ahead and just start hitting him?
And actually, in reality, that would have been pretty cool if he would have tried something or gotten to Triple H's face. And you kind of have a similar thing like you did with Ric Flair, where Triple H just buries him and stomps him out or something like that. That would have been cool, but no, he goes out the ring, he drops the mic, he starts to walk away, disgusted. Then, heartbreak for my man Pete here. Triple H goes, wait a minute, but I'm just fucking with you, You're not fired, but just to show you, the power that I have and what I can and can't do, and let you know who's in charge of the situation and all that. So your dreams were crushed. You still have to listen to Booker T on commentary. I'm sorry.
Thank God he doesn't have pay-per-view privilege.
Oh
God.
No, I mean, hey, they might decide.
He's got some pre-show work. Oh, please, no, please.
I mean, we do have the
pay-per-view
show.
They made mention of after Raw, they were having some Booker T special on the WWE Network, and I'm like, I know exactly what I'm not doing after WWE Raw. I'm not sticking around. That's not what I'm doing. I gotta say though, I do like Booker T. I don't know what it is. Booker T as a superstar, I didn't mind. I didn't mind Booker T wrestling. I just can't stand Booker T on commentary. I really just can't. But yeah, that was a very high moment to a low moment. That is very similar to the mixed tag team match. Exact same thing. Walking away, I'm happy. Him walking back to the announce table, I'm disappointed. But let's talk about something. Let's talk about something exciting, and it was on the thumbnail of the video, and we're gonna get into it. But before we do, we got to talk. Paige versus Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship, the fourth match of 6 of the night, and this match was a typical Bella's versus anyone match. It was just kind of like Nikki or Brie or Nikki, in this case Nikki because she's the Divas Championship, getting beat up, and then the other Brie. It looked like Paige was gonna win because she got her in the PTO, but then Brie came in and just started like annihilating her, and that's when the music hit. And I did not expect that at all.
That was a good oh shit moment. That was a really good oh shit moment because I don't think anybody. I mean, it had gotten to the point where I don't think anybody really talked about whether or not she was coming back. I mean, I think we all were resigned to the fact that she was on the outs with WWE because of the situation with her husband and things like that, and there was like you just weren't going to see her anywhere, that she was going to just quietly be written off. But music pops out, and AJ Lee comes out, and
she flew it. Like, I'm talking about. And man, have I missed her in the Divas division. Man, have I missed her in the Divas division. Get ready, Divas division. It starts now. Well, obviously after, of course, they're going to do the whole AJ and Paige versus the Bella Twins. They're going to have that whole thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. God help us all. But funny thing was, AJ tweeted like basically directly after that promo. She tweeted "Miss me?" ? And I mean, ultimate badass. Like, oh my god, it makes the Divas division that much more appealing now that she's back.
Yeah,
Her,
it
Paige,
does,
Natalia, Naomi.
especially when consider it's more than likely that Charlotte will be up soon from NXT. That throws another good wrestler for the women's division in the mix. Um, but it's a gift and a curse to me that AJ's back, because now at least we know what the Divas WrestleMania match is. It's going to be a tag team. I'm pretty sure that's where they're going, is Paige and AJ versus the Bellas. I don't want to see that because I don't
Yeah,
necessarily
that
want to
that
see the Bellas. I need Nikki to drop that belt like ASAP. Like Total Divas, I think isn't the finale for the season soon.
no, it's
I
this
think it's
week.
time for her to drop the belt.
And
Yeah, I think it's time for her to drop the belt so we don't have to see them anymore. The Total Divas is over. We can get rid
I
of
mean,
that whole scenario.
see, that's the thing. If the Divas division had a tag team division, so you had Naomi and Cameron form back together. I mean, you could keep Naomi on her own, do some solo
Yeah.
matches, but you could also have the tag team with Cameron. You'd have the Bella Twins, because think about it, the Bellas would make good tag team, like champions in terms of Divas division. Obviously, there's not that many Divas enough to make that, but I think that would work. But for
Mhm.
now, Nikki
I
Bella
think more
needs to
Divas
drop it,
than
and if she's going,
necessarily realize they just don't wrestle.
yeah, like now, if it just really is it going to go to Paige or is it going to go to AJ? So that's the
Right.
thing that they've kind of like left us on a cliffhanger now, and uh, just excited that AJ is back. Finally, the Divas division has me smiling. And guys, I never thought in the history of making thumbnails for this sharpshooting podcast that I'd ever have a diva as the centerpiece, and long behold, we've got one. What week is this? Is this week, what, 10? Well, technically 11 because we didn't do 10, so it's something like
Yeah.
that. But and it took this long to get a diva, and it's probably going to be a while before we see another one.
Yeah, it'll probably be sometime next year before that happens again. Oh, actually, no. I take that back.
Let
It'll happen probably soon. Because if Charlotte comes in and they actually let her do her
Oh yeah,
thing,
that's it.
then
She'll
yeah,
be there.
she'll be there. So yeah, I was glad to see AJ back. Yeah, makes an interesting tag team combo though. Her and I actually would like to see some promo stuff with her and Paige, because I think they would do good promos together. I really do. I think they could. That's one
Yeah,
thing that we don't really get
we'll
to see
just
a lot with the Divas is good promos. So.
we'll just have to wait and see how they go about it. But um, we'll talk about the next promo, because this was a promo episode of Raw, and it was, I wouldn't really say a promo actually. It was just kind of like a little sideshow, and it was Seth Rollins host his own daily show. And to be honest, I was really in and out with this. Like, yeah, it was kind of humorous at times, but it didn't hold my attention until Jon Stewart came out, and then I was kind of paying a bit more attention, because I think the way they built this whole Seth Rollins Jon Stewart thing in a way is like it's a bit creative. It like, especially when they had Seth Rollins go on the actual show. Like, I thought that was pretty funny, and added a bit of that. And Jon Stewart played his role perfectly as like uh, the guy that would talk. He'd do all the talking, but when it came to actually doing something, he'd like make excuses or like run away scared.
Yeah, he's.
And yeah,
It was okay. I don't know. I've never been a fan of putting non wrestlers in wrestling situations. Like, I was one of those few people who thought the whole Mr. T box and Mr. T Roddy Piper thing wasn't cool. I didn't find the Mike Tyson thing particularly entertaining. I damn sure hated when WCW made David Arquette champ. that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But it was. I have to admit, it was funny. I did find it entertaining. The whole bit with him.
The thing I like about this one though was it was just the way Jon Stewart did it was just really believable, especially since Seth Rollins. Well, basically, you had Jon Stewart basically saying stuff like, "You don't deserve that Money in the Bank. You don't deserve to be hosting the show on Raw." And then it looks like Seth Rollins is going to hit Jon Stewart. Randy's music cues, and then Jon Stewart does the low blow, the low blow, and then the run. That, come on, for a celebrity, at least that makes sense. Like, it's better than who was it, Hugh Jackman, when he came out. I'm pretty sure he just punched someone and, like, knocked them down.
Yeah,
And,
it's
like,
like
I'd
don't
prefer
make
to
them look
see,
strong.
yeah, just keep them as that, and Jon Stewart did it. It was actually pretty humorous, and Randy ended up saying that he did it for Seth Rollins. He did it basically for you, because you can't just punch Jon Stewart in the face. He would have sued you for everything you had and all this. But yeah, that little segment was okay. It's funny,
Yeah.
humorous, a bit longer than I expected, but what the hell? We'll take it for what Raw was, and we'll go to match 5, which was Luke Harper versus Daniel Bryan. What did you think? You know, this match was actually weirdly. It was weird because Luke Harper was so aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Luke Harper be that that real aggressive in ring, and the moves he was doing. Like, there was a bit where he just picked up Daniel
Yeah,
Bryan
when he
and just
threw him over the
literally
top of the
threw him
rope.
out the ring. Like, you,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
was
was
like,
like, oh shit.
yeah, that caught me off guard too.
Yeah, it's like Luke Harper had like a bad day or something.
I like it though. I
Threw him
mean,
into
he
the
should have
corner,
been
did that
more
like
aggressive. No, I like that though. I
no,
like
but
aggressive Luke Harper.
yeah, it worked well, and of course you had Daniel Bryan had to win that match. Let's be real here. There was no real reason for Daniel Bryan to lose, but it did put Daniel Bryan in an awkward situation. So after he picks up the win with the S-Lock in what was actually, like, I'm just going to say it was a pretty entertaining match because of how aggressive Harper was. You had Daniel Bryan go on the commentary table and basically go, yes, yes, yes. And then all hell broke loose because Luke Harper, well, mid-match you had, Bad News Barrett came out. And then after Bad News Barrett came out, Dean Ambrose came out and started attacking him. Then R-Truth came out, and then he was
Oh my
confronted by
god.
Luke Harper.
The R-Truth
And
thing.
you had he put the title down, then he went to walk away, and then he got clotheslined. Then you had Luke Harper look like he's going to get away with the title. And then suddenly, no music cued. I don't know why. It would have been a bit cooler. But Ziggler gives Harper the super kick, which, to be honest, in a match, that always makes someone kick out at 2, sometimes 1. But in terms of, like on Raw or something, it just knocks someone out completely. And you know what? It actually kind of... Was it just me, or did it tease Daniel Bryan being placed in that match? Because Daniel Bryan was doing the yes chant, and then he was looking directly at Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler was like, you want this title? Like, come get it. But how much, like, emphasis does it put on the Intercontinental Championship? I mean, like you said earlier, it is clustered, because there's that many superstars that actually want that belt. But, like, honestly, I haven't been... The match at WrestleMania is going to be great for the Intercontinental Championship, because whoever gets it actually wants it.
Yeah,
The
I don't
belt's
want
going to
Daniel
mean
Bryan
something.
in that match, but yeah, it did look like he was staring down Dolph. I mean, people have been teasing it was going to be him and Dolph anyway. Um, I don't know if I would like to.
I don't
You
think...
know, honestly, this makes me even more adamant about Cena losing to Rusev, because if he does, and then you're not going to put Daniel Bryan in the immediate picture for the WWE Championship, give him the damn U.S. title. Let him be the guy that beat Rusev.
Yeah, that could work
And
too.
in fact, it
But
makes even better sense because Rusev has submitted everybody. Who's the one person who could probably do a better job of submission than him, than Daniel Bryan?
yeah,
So, yeah.
can I say, it's weird with this Intercontinental Championship because Dolph Ziggler, he looked like a good Intercontinental Championship. When he was holding the belt, I was like, I can see this guy holding the Intercontinental Championship. Then you had, when Dean Ambrose holds it, you're like, I can see him being the Intercontinental Champion. Even when Luke Harper held it, I was kind of like him too. I can see him holding the belt. I mean, the only one I can't see in that group, besides Bad News Barrett, because I don't know what they're doing with him, is R-Truth.
You don't want to. You know what? To see
I don't
him,
think anyone can see him holding a belt at all.
it would be a comical
But
reign. It would be one of those reigns where you could see him getting a lot of like escape victories, if anything. But
yeah, it'd be
no, he needs
when he
not
wins
to.
a big roll up.
Yeah,
But
exactly. It'd be ridiculous.
I think the only thing to take is that Daniel Bryan's being teased. I mean, in a sense, if Daniel Bryan's going to go in, you'd assume Sheamus is next in line to come in and they have like a big packed match. But I think just leave it with what they've got now. Keep Daniel Bryan out of it. Find another way for him to get involved at Mania.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
But
just bring Sheamus back now and have him attack him for some reason and do that match. Even though I don't want to see Sheamus in WrestleMania either, but at this point, it's a weird situation because there's people who should have matches that don't. There's people who I wouldn't mind not seeing there who are gonna end up being there. It's no WWE. I tell you.
but we're going to go right ahead and talk about the newest inductee into the Hall of Fame, which was Alundra Blaze. And I mean, to be honest, I have no recollection of her.
Yeah, I
wrestling.
don't remember much about her wrestling either. But this WWE class, there's so many people who could be in there. I find it weird how they trickle in the big names. There's probably a lot of big names. Like, who's not in that I could think? Is Ricky Steamboat in?
It's just,
Is like Ricky Steamboat in?
I'm not sure.
I think Snooker's in. I mean, I personally never been one who cared that much for the Hall of Fame.
Ricky Steamboat was 2009.
Okay, so he is it. I
always
thought that he wasn't in.
I mean, in terms of like, I guess in a Divas sense, from the clips I've seen, the way they spoke about her, I guess she's made an impact. And in that clip, they did say she went from WWE to WCW, and it was quite controversial. But I guess that's about it we can talk about because, simply put, I just don't remember her as a wrestler. I remember,
I really don't either.
Like I've even seen the old matches from Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah and stuff,
right.
But I have not heard of that. So we'll move to the Paul Heyman promo, which was talk about getting shoveled shit and turning it into gold, because Paul Heyman takes terrible mic work. Like, WWE had serious technical problems, and he turned that into gold. Like, okay, so the first thing was when Paul Heyman was saying stuff like, just to clear up any rumor, Brock Lesnar will be at Mania, because a lot of people have been speculating Brock Lesnar's not going to show. And I know I read somewhere that Vince said that if he doesn't show, that Vince is going to sue Brock Lesnar. But Paul Heyman said my client Brock Lesnar will be anywhere he damn well pleases before WrestleMania. My client Brock Lesnar will be anywhere he damn well pleases after WrestleMania. It's like just the stuff he was saying. It's like my client Brock Lesnar will appear on Raw anytime he sees fit. Stuff like that. It just there's so much emphasis. But there were two bits in this promo that kind of made me kind of like cringe a bit. First, when he asked for a working mic, and then I think it was what's her name, Lillian Garcia. She handed over that time you done something. He's like, it's about time you done something right, and I was like, oh. And then when he was talking about Roman Reigns beating people in their prime, he said The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, and he said beat them all in their prime, and then he's like, I didn't mention Andre the Giant because he's dead. But I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. This guy treads on like thin ice. But how much does it prove that like Paul Heyman really does not need Brock Lesnar standing with him to make Brock Lesnar like bigger?
No, and didn't he mention something about
that's what separates him from
about Brock not being there? Like, there was the rumors about Brock walking out or something. Did he address something to that effect? I remember him saying.
I don't think he addressed.
I remember him saying something about
line,
controversy.
Like, perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at treading the line between like actual information that he's not supposed to spread and like the WWE storyline. Like he balances it. The guy, you just give him a mic and he'll run a mile. Like you give him an inch and he'll run a mile. That's just the easiest way to put Paul Heyman on the mic. And like I'm telling you, he's the only manager I can think of off the top of my head that could talk about someone, a wrestler, and make them out to be a monumental thing without having them there. He does not need that superstar there. He doesn't. He's like how Bray Wyatt's doing the promo for The Undertaker. He's like that, but a lot better and a lot more creative.
Yeah, the aura around Brock is just ridiculous, and it's great when you have the payoff when Brock comes out and actually destroys somebody or does something devastating, because it just makes like what he said even more. He does a promo with Brock, and then Brock comes out and makes his promo the greatest "I told you so" moment that you've ever seen in your life. He's a master. He's a fucking master at that. That's why, even though I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't know if it's the best thing in the world, if they were to do a turn and put him with Roman Reigns, we'd all be the biggest Roman Reigns fans in the world because of Paul Heyman. That's how good he is. That is exactly how good that man is on the mic. He is just phenomenal. He makes you feel just about everything he says. It's really good, really good.
Yeah, that's why that's what I'm saying. I'm terrified that come after WrestleMania, if Brock does decide to leave, that Paul Heyman will follow, because as I said at the beginning, I did watch the Paul Heyman documentary, and Paul Heyman himself said that it's a miracle that he's back at the WWE after the fallout he had with Vince, and the only reason he's back is because he loves working with Brock Lesnar that much.
Yeah, well, not only that, is that hate the man as much as you want. He's so fucking good. You can't deny that he's so damn good at what he does. He's just. I really wish, like, I'm wondering where Zeb Coulter is. Yeah, like I'm wondering where Zeb Coulter is, because I think him and Zeb Coulter, when they were doing some of the storylines a couple of years ago, they did a phenomenal job. with that stuff. Have him be in front, have Zep Culture being back with the stories, working with them, and then WWE would be so much better. And hell, I know people don't like him, and he gets a lot of people's nerves. But hell, bring Jim Cornette back. Bring Jim Cornette back to you. Those three right there are like my like. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's plain and simple. As far as I've seen in the WWE, through my time watching live and from going back in past matches and watching all this, Heyman is by far the best manager I've ever seen, and he is by far the best I've seen on the mic. Just miles ahead of everyone. It's just his confidence. He's so creative. It's really, in the words of Stone Cold, just give the man a mic and 15 minutes, and no one will change the channel. No one will look away, because when Paul Heyman is talking, everyone is listening.
Yeah, no.
He made RAIDMAX a thing.
He did, yeah. That I always say that too. It's like if anybody could take both of them and make them like legit tag team, you know that he's onto something. You know that's greatness walking right there. You know,
magic.
Yes.
They need to please use him more. Please give him a bit more screen time. Let him
and it's funny because I won't say that it was the CM Punk walkout thing that caused this, but I feel like since then they missed a very good opportunity at having like that Paul Heyman stable. Because I remember when he had Ryback in Curtis Axel and he had CM Punk, and we knew Brock was coming back. Me and my friends, we were so excited at the idea of this like huge Paul Heyman stable. You know, you had the Shield working with him in the background. That would have been a ridiculous stable if you could have pulled all of those guys together as his people. It would have been magic, and I hope someday we get to see a like real legit Paul Heyman stable come out. So I think that would be just such a great thing. They just have him in charge of all of these wrestlers and just laying these promos for me. He would be the guy that I would use for something like that. If I wanted to introduce a bunch of young superstars into the mix and I needed a way to get them over, send them Paul Heyman's way. That's the best thing to do. If you got a guy who you have a hard time figuring out an angle for, just send him Paul's way. He'll figure it out for you.
Let me, before we move to the main event, I just want to say that anyone that hasn't watched the Paul Heyman documentary, definitely check it out, because it's just so interesting, and Paul himself is quite an interesting guy, especially to get into the position he's in and what he had to do and just everything about it. That documentary is brilliant, and I can't recommend it more so. We'll move to the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, which I included with Big Show, Kane, and J&J Security at ringside to start the match. That's a lot of people at ringside, and it's so much more because Big Show's like 7 foot something, and then you got Kane's 6'7" or something.
Right.
It just feels like so much manpower outside that ring. And you know what? This match was kind of weird. It was good. Oh, it was alright. It was like up and down. Roman Reigns obviously showing his power. And obviously you had J&J Security doing their typical distractions as they do every Seth Rollins match.
Yeah,
they
I'm kind
need
of
to break
tired
them
of
up
that.
something fierce.
Yeah, because it's cool in some ways, but at the same time, it kind of weakens Seth Rollins to me because it's like he's forever having to have them assist him. He doesn't get clean wins anymore. I can't think of the last time he's got a seriously clean win. Can you?
Not off the top of my head. It'd probably be on SmackDown if it's going to be anyway.
Yeah, and
I can't remember the last one with that overall.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I
this
guess it
match, the thing that, like we said, you had first it was Jamie Noble. Actually, it was pretty funny when Jamie Noble did his. He kind of like held on to Roman Reigns' leg, and Roman Reigns like dragged him in the ring. And then Roman Reigns like basically knocked him out of the ring. And it was funny because Michael Cole was yelling at JBL on commentary, and JBL was just like, well, technically, Roman Reigns pulled him into the ring. I actually found that JBL has like some one-liners that make me giggle. Like, just some of the stuff he says, because he's trying so hard to be the heel commentator.
Yeah, I know, and he's just too goofy. He shouldn't try to be the heel. He just be your goofy self, because he's such a goofy personality, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no, that's so true. But then you had Joey Mercury do his thing. You even had Kane use the chair. But the end of the match was the worst. Randy Orton distracted Roman Reigns going for the spear by holding his leg. And then Seth Rollins roll up that lasted 9-10 seconds. Looking the other way, but he still had time to turn around. Really? Roman Reigns isn't going to kick out of that? But
you know, again, the Randy Orton thing, him and his whole interfering. I don't know. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, because there's no way that they are going to honestly keep this whole I'm just trying to be your friend thing going. You have a perfect WrestleMania match set up. Just let them go at it. I really see them setting this up to what I was saying earlier, the second scenario, instead of the first scenario with them going at it, because I don't want to see them all of a sudden have a falling out the week before WrestleMania, and then that's a WrestleMania match. I don't need these on the fly WrestleMania matches. Establish it, build the heat, and just go. You had the heat built after Fastlane. I don't know what they're doing with that.
That's the thing. That's the actual thing. It's just I really don't like how they went that route with Randy Orton. Like, Randy Orton came back, perfect time for him to be a face. Just let him take out Seth Rollins, build some heat between the two heading into WrestleMania, and let it take that route. I don't like the idea of Randy Orton just the night after just forgiving him for curb stomping, and basically the whole angle where it's like, you nearly took out my career, but we'll try and coexist because you're the future and I'm the face.
Yeah,
I can't understand that. But after the match, after Seth Rollins picked up the win by a roll-up, which I'm so sick of seeing roll-ups. Whoever, like, how many roll-ups do we see on average each week? Probably 3.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Naomi won by a roll-up. Like, and there's only what? There's like this week there was 6 matches. God,
6 matches,
but,
2 roll-ups. Let me see. Yeah, Naomi roll-up. Yeah, Seth roll-up. Yeah.
Let's talk the end of that match where Roman Reigns took out everyone. Where did Randy Orton go?
Yeah, Randy Orton said I did my thing. I helped
Like
out.
you had that's it. You had Roman Reigns jump over the top rope. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was the top rope,
Yeah,
or he
he
went through
jumped
the
over the
middle.
top rope.
It was, and that was crazy. And he landed on top of them, and then he took them all out. I gotta say though, his spear on Seth Rollins was intense. Like I'm talking like
Yeah,
wildly
they're
intense.
they're doing their best to make him just look like a monster. And it's funny because I remember doing the match when they were trying to mess with him, and he took out a couple of people, and you just hear Booker T goes off like, just you. Do you really think that Brock Lesnar is ready for this and all of that? I was just like, yeah, y'all are really laying it on thick with the whole uh, Roman Reigns being this
I
like
gotta say, I
monster.
was so sick. This match alone was the one I was the most annoyed with Booker T on commentary because the entire time Booker T was like, "Oh, he's gonna beat you. Uh, I haven't seen that intensity in his eyes. He's ready for a fight." It's just like, why do you have to? Why does he get the most lines?
I don't know.
That
I will say this, to be fair, he does talk the most about the match. You know, so I don't know.
yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
yeah. So I mean, maybe that's
Well,
why.
I
Go ahead.
mean, we with that said, I think that pretty much wraps up Raw. We could also quickly just cover that whole NXT thing if you want to.
Yeah, there's an article out on I think it's Wrestling Inc. where a former NXT guy has some interesting things to say about head of development training Bill DeMott, basically saying that Bill DeMott just basically bullies and berates superstars in his training. It was a couple of things that he said. Let me pull this up real quick so I can get refreshed. But there were a couple of things that allocations that he said. Basically, his whole thing was they were forcing him to wrestle through a serious knee injury, and he was harassed a lot for it. And then um, he said a couple of things, like a couple of notable things, is that he refers to one guy named Oliver Gray as Joe pedophile. Um, and is constantly talking, berating him. He had one thing where somebody said that they were going to call their finishing move the Davy Boy, and his response was, "The Davy Boy, what do they do? Turn blue and drop dead on the lawn?" Apparently, he has a thing for Enzo Amore, where he's constantly coming at Enzo physically and verbally abusing Enzo, like constantly in the training, which is crazy. It's just a lot of things like that. He told the class to drop dead after they did a ceremony for a wrestler who committed suicide. Apparently, was one of the rumors. Uh, it's a lot of crazy things. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description or I'll tweet it out so you guys can read it and see.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
there was actually one I wanted to mention. He was known. One of the wrestlers quoted him as saying, "The Daniel Bryan wouldn't have been as good of a wrestler as he is right now if he hadn't have come back, gone basically from where he was to WWE developmental, got retrained, and then gone to the WWE roster." Which, let's be honest, that's just a big load of shit,
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan,
big load of horse crap, and
yeah, it was
yeah,
fine. I mean, maybe he's trying to say like he put him in a more WWE tone of wrestling, but Daniel Bryan as a wrestler, I mean, this guy was trained all over the world. He's wrestled in England, wrestled in Japan against some of the best people. Hell, he used to wrestle with well, they call him Hideo Itami right now, but you know, he's a great
So,
wrestler
like,
right there. He's too skilled to say that he was a shit wrestler. What?
that's exactly if you you know the WWE how they like online they give out awards for like
Right.
the best wrestler. How many times did if you actually search it? How many times did Daniel Bryan win the best technical wrestler? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he won it years in a
And
row.
and that's the thing about
Like
Daniel Bryan
he was
is
winning that
before he
thing for like
even hit WWE, even in the indies, he wasn't your quote unquote typical indie guy who just did a lot of crazy, high flying, dangerous moves or anything like that. He was a submission specialist way before, the yes lock was even thought of. I mean, go look up some of the old Daniel Bryan videos. I forget what he called himself. It was something Dragon. But look up Daniel Bryan Dragon and you'll see this guy was already a very technical wrestler before WWE even thought of him. So uh, that is a laughable statement in my mind right there, which doesn't do well as far as Bill DeMott's you know putting, how can I say this? It does for me. It makes the rumors about Bill DeMott seem much more likely. The fact that has he may have had the audacity to say that he helped make Daniel Bryan a better wrestler. That would be far from the truth, right there. If I don't know, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Um, all of this because if that's what's going on,
it's
then
definitely
go ahead.
yeah they need to if that's what's actually it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I guess it maybe it's an old school style of doing things, to be quite honest. Because I've heard stories from back in the day where people, kind of that was how things were done. I actually heard a story just as recently as a couple of weeks ago. Wrestler Adam Cole, he's in Ring of Honor, and he spoke about how in his first wrestling school, when they were doing their training, they would make them like take falls on concrete and things like that. You know, so maybe it's just a holdover from that old school. You got to prove you won it by going through bullshit type of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
but in nowadays times, there shouldn't be any reason that you have someone like that. Actually, I just remembered another one of his quotes where he said something stupid like "Don't wrestle how John Cena wrestles, wrestle how I teach you." And it's just small stuff like that. It's just what the, the fact that it's good in a way that a wrestler actually came out and spoke out about this. Because had he kept it in, we don't know what could have happened to him mentally. Because I know he said that it was affecting him, like, and because job security and all that, because he was afraid to say when he was injured because of the reaction he was copying. But he said that it also could leave long-term physical effects on him because obviously if he's not saying when he's injured and he continues to wrestle, it does more damage to that knee. So it's good. It's good that this happened. Obviously, as we said, it's been brought up in the past, but nothing has been
Yeah,
done
because
with
when you
about it.
said that, it just
Hopefully,
made
something.
me think about how during the whole CM Punk interview, he made the claim that WWE training doctors were a joke and that they don't take people's injuries serious. If you have stuff like this going on, it kind of lends to the whole, well, this is why they don't take them serious because they're pushing people so hard and they're not really concerned with your health like that type of situation. You know?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's the honest truth, and it's shocking to hear. Like I just wanted to bring it up. People really like. For me, it was a real insight. It was some of the things that you have to go through in terms of becoming a WWE superstar.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. Hopefully, it's not that true. If so, they're gonna have to like make some serious changes then, because you shouldn't have that going on. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand old school way of things. You know, people had to like take their lumps, but there are better ways to take your you know to take to make your way and take your lumps than stuff like that. That's a little bit overboard, in my opinion. Yeah. And I'm
yeah.
being understated with the little bit part.
That just about wraps up this episode of Raw. Uh, any final touches that you want to sprinkle on for this week
Uh,
besides Booker T not getting fired?
um, that's okay, Pete. It'll happen one day. But no, only that it's funny because I actually held off watching NXT. I didn't watch the NXT before Fastlane, and I didn't. I waited until I watched uh, Raw last week, and then I watched both episodes, last week's and the week before for NXT, and just kind of saddened me because it was like, wow, this is why I didn't watch NXT because I'm watching good wrestling now, and it kind of makes me that much more cynical towards what they do on Raw these days. Hopefully, although I will say this, NXT bringing Rhino back and the Brian Kendricks. God, I fucking hate that name, and I fucking hate that that name is associated with the longest tag team run in history. The Brian Kendricks. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus. But it was
Do you know
interesting.
what was weird though? I didn't mind. I didn't mind Paul London and Brian Kendrick as a tag team. I thought they were a good one. Though,
Yeah,
like you said, it kind of does bother me that they're the longest reigning tag team champions.
yeah, ever. Think about that. Think about some of the tag teams that we've had, and then think about who's held the belt longest out of anybody. It's just insane. But it was interesting to see that they are bringing established stars straight to NXT instead of bringing them straight to the roster like they used to. It's strange. It's very very strange, but it also fits sort of the whole vibe that Vince doesn't like to put people who've been in the indies on top anyway type of scenario. So I don't know. It's curious to see who else is going to pop up in NXT because there's a lot of people out there. Like one rumor is Samoa Joe might sign because Samoa Joe walked out on TNA, so might see Samoa Joe sometime.
I heard actually Samoa Joe, like I was pretty keen on him going to WWE, but it's been confirmed that he's going back to Ring of Honor.
Oh, so he's going
So
to Ring of
that
Honor.
kind of
Okay.
yeah, that kind of shut that out the window for me. Because I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool
Well,
if he
I wouldn't
can
say
go.
totally because Ring of Honor people don't stay with Ring of Honor long, or they don't just stay with Ring of Honor. Like I mentioned, Adam Cole. He's his contract is if it's in Canada or the United States, he wrestles for Ring of Honor. But anywhere else, he can do wherever he damn pleases. So he still wrestles outside of that. So their contract, they have they have weird contracts with their wrestlers. So it could be Samoa Joe can have a temporary thing and then decide I want to go to WWE. So you never know. He might show up. I would like to see him. Of course, current state of WWE is probably not going to do him any good, but yeah, I would like to see Samoa Joe show up. Hell, bring
Yeah,
Bobby Roode and Austin Aries too, please. But That's just
Yeah.
a wishful thinking. Anyway, I think that wraps up this show. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it and appreciate all the love that you guys have given us over these episodes. Really do. You got anything to say to the people before we go?
Just excited to be heading into WrestleMania. Also, like I said, make sure that you watch that Paul Heyman documentary. And also, I'll probably end up by the next podcast. I'm gonna because I got the Destruction of the Shield. I downloaded it, and I'll
Okay.
let you know how that one goes because I've heard good things about that as well.
Okay, yeah, I
But
might have to
yeah,
check that out.
thanks for all the support. Like you said, Mike. Like you said, Mike. Thanks to everyone for the support, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, Raw gets a bit better.
We can
Oh
only
god.
hope.
Booker T
If-
still around.
It's
Booker
okay.
T.
It's
R-Truth.
okay. It's all right. We can pray that it'll get better. But thank you guys again, and we'll see you next time on the podcast. Peace.